Hi everyone, it's Kevin, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna print a Sherman tank. I'm on my mini factory. This one is from Roberto Lici. It's cool to change from humanoid or monster and try vehicle. Last time I tried on a Groot tank, it was pretty fun, so let's do it again and print. Okay, so I have my 4-part angled and placed on the beer plate. I'm ready to support. There is almost no island on those models, everything is really bulky and in one piece, so it's really easy to support. You don't have to think too much about it, you just careful on the edge for some tiny part, like here on the side of the body, and some kind of like loops going around, like here on the turret on the side. But for the most part, you just spam a bunch of support, make sure it's enough along the way, and you will be fine. Here the tracks were well modeled, so easy to support as well. Okay, so all my pieces are printed. It's like 4 total, the 2 chain going around and the turret on top. It's gonna be pretty easy to clean up. Everything was put under the model or in between pieces going together, so I try to avoid to have too much cleanup for me later on. I'm gonna prime and start painting and have some fun. Let's go. Okay, so I choose like a khaki green, the classic color kind of for the tank. I'm going with first base coat right now. And the second that I'm applying here, I've just changed the color a bit. I was not really happy with the first one. I think the nuance was a bit off. I added a bit more brown to my green to make it a bit more like military green. And I applied my base coat and I'm happy with it. Later on I dry brushed the more like greenish color this time and a tiny bit brighter. The goal was not only to catch some of the edge, but have some of the part of the panel to be a bit different. So I wanted to have some gradient going on, but really subtle. I didn't go with some crazy like effect from dark to bright highlight. So I have a bit of interest on the panel. It's not purely like one base coat. And for the weathering here, I opted for like the chipping option with like the rusty feeling under it. So I'm just going with like a reddish brown, and along all the edges I'm just gonna apply a lot of brown, make like everything is a bit beat up. I'm edge highlighting those parts, so I want them to pop out, not only in the normal edge of the tank but the edge of the chipping as well. Here I'm doing some of the light. And after all of this, I spent quite a lot of time doing all the chipping effect and all the tiny highlight here. I applied some washes in some places, but really sparingly. I didn't go crazy and try to wash everything. I went in some corner and I applied a tiny bit of wash in some places. It's really subtle. I didn't want to go crazy and have some weird effect going on. It's easy to go ham and end up with a lot of stuff on one model. Here I'm going back with the highlight. It's brighter than the first one. I think the first one was good, but it was not popping enough, so I went back with a brighter one. Here, as you can see, the effect is a bit better. From further you can see the effect even more, so that's great. And here I'm just like stippling some like gunmetal metallic paint on the bottom. Not a lot of it, I don't want to go crazy. I've decided for the base to print a square base and some brick wall with a fence. Just to have some good stuff going on, really simple, but I like the idea of it. Here I'm applying some texture paste to simulate some kind of dirt. And I have the tracks running along, so I'm just wiping off in between here. And then when it's dry and primed, I start painting over. I'm going for the classic color on the bricks, kind of like pinkish reddish brick. The first coat here is a bit weird, a bit too orange and bright, but I'm gonna apply some wash over, trying to change the tone later on. I applied a bit of red and a bit of black. And after that everything was dry, I went back with some darker wash and I'm just like kind of glazing down the bottom part of the bricks just to add like some shade and like some variant on it. It's nothing crazy, I'm just glazing down with the wash, and then I try to wet blend the top just to make sure I don't have some kind of weird stain, like the wash always leave a weird stain, so trying to wet blend is between is pretty good to avoid those kind of effects. Here I'm dry brushing over the dirt. And after that I went to edge highlight all the bricks. It was really tedious, it took me a lot of time, but it's good for the effect. You don't want to just dry brush over and have something weird. I went one by one. I didn't do all the edges, just some of them, some of the in between, and just to make sure all the bricks were popping. Time to glue the tank on top. And then I finished the base with some tuft around. I'm gonna add some barbed wire that I've made with some wire that I had as well. It's always like the small finishing touch, but they always add a lot, I think. Here I'm messing up a bit, having a hard time with this one. Here after placing the barbed wire, I apply some tuft inside, and to finish everything, some pigment. And that's it for the Sherman tank diorama. This one is pretty cool. I didn't do anything crazy, super technical or complicated, but that's good enough. It's a good tiny diorama. I like the size because you don't want to go crazy overboard sometimes. It's easy for a diorama to scale up and be a bit of a pain, so this one is tiny, it's cute. I like the end result. Tell me what do you think in the comment, and see you next time. Bye.